There's a general lack of interest that's been surrounding the NBA for a while now, but it seems like it's beginning to reach a boiling point. There are plenty of NBA games to watch each week, but accessing them can be a bit problematic. The creativity of the NBA is almost non existent, leaving us with a dried up product. The majority of teams in the NBA play exactly the same, and the officiating is messing up the flow of the game. Is there anything the NBA can do to turn this around, or is it too late? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more NBA content. With business and really anything in life, there will be those high moments where it feels like everything is working out perfectly, and the low moments where it feels like everything is going wrong. The NBA is still at the pinnacle of basketball leagues, but it feels like it's been on a slow decline for a while now. With the viewership of the NBA dropping about 30% this past November and almost 50% since 2012, this seems to be an ongoing issue they just haven't been able to solve yet. The NBA somehow managed to convince Disney, NBC, and Amazon to invest 76 billion into their declining organization. Maybe investors have a plan on using similar strategies from some of their other acquisitions to help the NBA turn things around. Let's compare the NBA to the NFL to see if we can figure out why one league is breaking viewership records and why one is on a decline. The NFL is averaging over 17 million viewers per game. This is the highest it's been since 2015. The NBA has 30 plus games that are played during a normal week in the season, while the NFL only has about 15 games played during a normal week in the season. Obviously, football is way more physical, and players need longer recovery times in between games, but the fewer games create a sense of urgency to actually watch the games. With the NBA offering almost 40 games in a week, there's no fear of missing out because you can just catch another game tomorrow. It's all about supply and demand. The NBA supplies 50% more games than the NFL, but the NFL has a way more demand due to their fewer supply of games to offer to their fans. On top of the NBA hosting a large amount of games on a weekly basis, you wouldn't be able to watch all these games legally if you really wanted to. The NFL consistently has games played around the same times and same days every week, and every game is available across multiple streaming platforms. I've been watching the NBA for a while now, and I still have trouble remembering their weekly game schedules and knowing which ones will be available to watch or not. I remember hearing about a Knicks fan that was struggling to find a service that was streaming the New York Knicks games. He was already subscribed to NBA League Pass, but because he lived in New York, he wasn't able to watch any of the games. He was told that he needed to be subscribed to MSG Network in order to watch the games, but after using it for some time, the streaming service just stopped showing the games. At this point, I'm pretty sure the average enthusiast would have started using alternative methods in order to stream their favorite team's games. This is a win for the consumer, but the NBA is met with steep declines in views if their content isn't widely accessible. The next biggest problem I see with the NBA is the death of imagination and creativity. Now, this is a problem I see with companies and organizations all over. It seems like people are moving away from fun, exciting designs into more corporate and mundane themes. For example, McDonald's used to have the aesthetic of a dreamlike playhouse with bright colors and fun imagery, but now it's just another boring black and gray restaurant with a modern design. I believe the NBA jerseys are a prime example of this lack of creativity. These days, jersey designs either look like they were thrown together by AI or it appears as if they just rehashed early designs to appeal to the nostalgia of the fans. Let's take a look at the Toronto Raptors, Miami Heat, and Utah Jazz jerseys. On the left is the Raptors Classic jersey, and on the right is this year's City Edition jersey. As you can see, they are damn near the same after all this time. Don't get me wrong, this is easily one of the best jerseys ever, but it's time for something new. Okay, so on the left is the Heat's Classic jersey, and on the right is this year's City Edition jersey. And honestly, this is a joke. I truly believe my 5-year-old nephew could have came up with a way better design than this. Lastly, on the left is the Jazz Classic jersey, and on the right is this year's City Edition jersey. Another case of a great design being reused instead of coming up with something new. Stephen Curry will easily go down as one of the best basketball players in NBA history. While most have nothing but positive things to say about Curry, people tend to put the blame on him for transforming the game of basketball into a three-point shootout. Over the last decade, the league average for three-pointers attempted per game has increased pretty much every year and has now reached about 38 attempted threes per game. Tuesday night, the NBA Cup Finals hosted the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. I knew this wasn't going to be the most show-stopping game due to the defensive nature of each team, but this game was kind of hard to watch. Yes, I am an OKC fan, but them losing isn't what pissed me off the most watching this. It was how they were losing. The Thunder simply shot themselves out of the game and died by the 3 point line. They finished the game 5 of 32 from the 3 point line, an extremely efficient 15% from behind the arc. What made me cut this game off during the third quarter was the fact that even when they were like 2 of 23 from the 3 point line, they were still only down by one at some points. Instead of taking middies or driving to the hoop, they continued to jack from deep like they didn't care about trying to come back. This is the part of the 3 point revolution that sends me over the edge. Teams would rather shoot themselves out of their 3 point slumps instead of changing their game plan. It just seems like a very egotistical and prideful brand of basketball. Last weekend hosted two games that broke records for 3 pointers and was a prime example of just how much the game has changed. The Chicago Bulls versus the Charlotte Hornets featured a combined 75 missed 3 pointers between both teams. That means on average, both teams missed about 19 3 pointers altogether each quarter. At what point do both teams move inside the arc and try a different way to score? The Dallas Mavericks versus the Golden State Warriors broke a 3 point record in a good way, though. Both teams combined to knock down 48 3 pointers, with Curry, Doncic, Irvin, Thompson, and Hill all on the floor together. I can't say I'm surprised they achieved this. Load management has become normalized in recent years and has also come with a lot of controversy. This can be defined as having your star players sit out of games to continue recovering and monitoring a long term injury. Could you imagine Kobe Bryant sitting out of multiple games in a season to monitor the symptoms of a prior knee injury? I didn't think so. If he was able to move properly, he was out there helping his team. Stars like Joel Embiid and Kawhi Leonard have been the biggest offenders of load management and are slowly losing the attention of NBA fans. These are two top 10 NBA players when they are healthy, but over the past couple of years, their legacy has been questioned due to the way they both are handling their injuries. The general flow of an NBA game has been affected too, which makes the game drag on for much longer than they need to sometimes. Believe it or not, but the refs have a lot more power in the game than most even think they do. Whether from a coach's challenge or the suggestion of an upset, complaining player, replay reviews have slowed the game down dramatically. Some reviews are blatantly obvious and are a waste of time, and other times they review something for so long as if they're trying to solve a murder case. The last 2 minutes of an NBA game can feel like 2 hours if there's any indecision involved. Personally, I still enjoy watching the NBA each week. It is kind of annoying to have to use special methods just to access an OKC Thunder game, but honestly, the NBA needs to update League Pass and allow you to watch any game that's being played. I've really enjoyed the improvement with the court designs during the tournament, and it shows that the NBA can be creative if they really want to be. I don't mind the current style of play, and I still find it highly entertaining to watch. Things always change and evolve, sometimes for the better and sometimes for the worse. One thing will remain the same though: basketball will keep changing, so it's best to observe the art form and appreciate it for what it is. If I were in Adam Silver's shoes, I will make all NBA games accessible within League Pass and other streaming services. That way, everything the NBA has to offer on a weekly basis will actually be accessible to all fans of the NBA. I will also put a lot more focus into the design elements of the NBA. All Star Weekend and Christmas Day jersey designs used to be eye catching and would add to the excitement of the games being played. If they put a little more thought into the designs of the jersey, it could encourage more fans to buy them, which will lead to higher merchandise sales and brand recognition worldwide.